The opinions expressed on the radio program by the hosts, co hosts, guests, and call in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Genesis Radio, www.genesisradio.com, Genesis Radio's owners, management, or affiliates.
Hey y'all know what it is. We're in the place to be right now. Genesis Radio, where you hear what you love and you love what you hear. We just hijacking the station for a little while. We're gonna bump our gums a little bit. We got a special guest in the studio today. We got Sharina Wynn in the building with us, with the most interesting DJ in the world, DJ Rod. We just gonna do a quick wrap up of our Unity and Community event today. And Sharina blessed us with her presence today, and she came in and tore the house down, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So, Sharina, say hello to the people out there.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, so it was a good thing today, you know. What you think, Rud, the most interesting DJ in the world?
Listen, I think it was on level 10. I think we took the W today. I think the team showed up and showed out. And listen, man, I didn't even see no bad energy, nothing, no argument, no kids fighting, no everybody played nice in the sandbox together. And, you know, it was a real nice, decent unity in a community event, man. I think I think it was a home run, man.
I think we hit the mark, you know what I mean? You know, we gave out some book bags, and Coca-Cola blessed us once again with free Coke products. We gave away a bunch of that day. And then we got to get some fresh talent to get on the stage, you know, and represent, you know. Y'all forgive me a little bit today. Upa's got the granddaughter in the studio today with us. And she just running around a little bit. She a little hyped up, so but forgive us, you know. If you hear a little background noise, it's the little grandbaby running around here, you know what I mean? So that's what it is. But Sharina.
Yes.
Tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we go into today's event.
Okay. I am a female artist. Started singing a while ago. Started with Gerald Levert for real. And then moved on to Angie Stone and D'Angelo and a lot of artists that I've worked and performed with. Toured with Gerald, toured with Angie, wrote some stuff for Patty, wrote some stuff with Gerald for Vanessa Williams. I'm performing with the OJs now, on tour with them, their last Love Train tour. And just been out here for a while. You know, they say once you get in it, it's hard to get out. So that's the truth. It is hard to get out.
Well, as y'all can hear, she got a lot of skin in the game.
Yeah.
And today, we challenged her a little bit today.
Yeah,
and it was fun.
Did. Yeah, you
know?
did.
You know.
Me.
How'd that all happen? I you know, I downloaded music and borrowed somebody's hotspot and all this stuff, and then y'all just changed the play. Like,
Yeah.
Well, you know, ain't nothing scripted. Just like here at Genesis Radio, there's nothing scripted.
I'm just saying,
You know?
how'd that happen? Somebody tell me.
Well,
Collectively,
you know,
we're very eccentric.
Okay.
So
no, he tricked me because he said, "Come on, it's time for you ready to do your song?" I'm like, "Okay, let's go. Let's do the song." I walk up there and the keyboard player's like, "You know, ain't nobody." I'm looking around.
yeah.
Who? We're gonna do it in this key. Is this a good key? He
Mhm.
said, I looked over at Terry and I looked around. I said, "Okay, come on, let's do it." And we just, you know, just did it.
No, it looked like it was just organic. I saw that the band, they was excited. They were having fun. You know, musicians love that type of stuff.
Yeah, but he didn't think I could sing for real.
Wow.
He looked at me. He was like, "Yeah,
Can you carry a note,
she
right?
can't sing. She can't sing." And then, you know, out the bat, I just hit a high note, and they were like, "Okay, she can sing." So then we just started partying and grooving. It was easy after that.
I love that. You know what I mean?
You know
I like to be spontaneous.
That was crazy. She was telling them at the end.
Right.
they was like, no.
They was
on go time. They like, no, we gonna do it again. We gonna do that last 8 bars again.
Yeah. It's funny. What's funny about that? I thought of when I saw that. You know what I thought about years ago as a kid. I was a part of a choir, New York City Community Choir, and we did a song called "Express Yourself," and the musicians were battling each other on this recording. You know, so same thing. Like, enough. No,
right.
Bass player say no. I'm gonna keep going. Then the drummer, no, I'm gonna keep going. You know what I mean? It was kind of like being in a Pentecostal church. You know what I mean? When they just
keep going.
Go in their praise break. It just don't stop.
You know
what I mean? So they were enjoying you, and that was their way of saying, no, don't stop, keep going.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They were just excited because, we got a real singer. Let's just keep this stuff, and the people in the audience was partying, and it was like, come on, let's keep it going. And I'm like, cut. I cut it so many times, and they stopped and started right back up again. I was like,
you know what?
God.
Yeah, they didn't want it to end.
It was good stuff. That's why I said, all right,
it was good.
Y'all do one more with her, because you know.
Then they pulled out a blast from the past.
That's right.
Can you do Boogie Oogie Oogie? I said, how old are you? What do you know about Boogie Oogie Oogie? And it came out good. The one thing I liked about the band today was they did like R&B, old school R&B, but they gave it a twist of new school. And it turned out pretty good. It turned out good. It was good. It was good. I was so excited about that. I walked off the stage and forgot that I had to sing the single.
That's right.
And you ran behind me like, you got to sing your single. I was like,
that's right.
I got to sing. Okay.
Go do your thing, you know. Yeah. But that's what we do sometimes.
It was
you know?
good. Though.
It was so good. It was so organic, you know, and it was so organic that Lincoln said, okay, we're going to do this thing next year. I got an idea. I said, what is that idea? He said, well, Friday night, we're going to let Eric Benet perform Friday night with Christopher Williams, and let's introduce Sharina Wynn on that show.
Yay.
And I said, really? You know, I always got to double check with him.
Right, make sure I heard.
Are you sure? You right? Yeah, she can really sing. I think she can add some value. You know what I mean? And I said, okay. I think she could add some value too. You know, I said the same thing. You know, but then when you did your song, you know, you put your foot in that.
I did, but you know, I was just a little hoarse because I don't know what it was. I think it was just I was so nervous, and I don't know why. I do this all the time, but sometimes you have those days where you do get nervous. Like, you know, I performed for a long time. People say, oh, how are you nervous? You do this all the time, but you still can get nervous. Like, it's good energy.
Yeah,
it fuels you, but I was nervous. And when I get nervous, I kind of get hoarse. But somebody told me a long time ago, I think it was Patty. It was either Patty or Gladys. And they said, when you get hoarse, sing through it, because some people like it. It shows that you're a real singer, that you're not just trying to sing pretty and, you know, sing through it.
Yeah.
It adds emotion to the song. And ever since they told me that, when I get hoarse, I just sing through it like, okay. And it shows emotion. It really don't, because I'm hoarse, but
you know what?
Emotion.
We call those snafus, right? And nobody knows that it's a snafu, but
right.
So if you don't tell nobody,
right,
they'll never know. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They think, oh, she meant to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But people heard me just say, oh, I meant to do that.
Mhm.
You know, that was one of those moments. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I gotta say, Mike, you bonehead, you missed a good one today. You know, you could have got with Maya on another gig. You know what I mean? You didn't have to do that. You were supposed to be over here with us today. That's right, I said it, Mike. I'm calling you out. You know what I mean? Putting you on the spot. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear nothing about Maya.
I sent him a text too. I said, "Oh, you must be here." I sent emojis of big eyes on it. Like, I'm looking for you. Are you over there on the other side?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this is what we do, you know? And I gotta say, you met the challenge. You impressed me. You know, not that I didn't think you would impress me, but you know, when you do these spontaneous things, like you don't know the band, you didn't know the guys, anything. I just said you can sing, so I can get some monkeys barking and clapping, and I think you go in there and sing the song and hit the note. See, like unlike a friend of ours, you know, my only beat with her is the shower because she can't hit a note. You know what I mean? She swears she can sing, but she can't hit a note. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Don't tell her that.
Wow.
He said, "Wow."
What you think, Rod?
Well, I think, like I said, I think it was a home run. I think listen, it was just totally unscripted. It was amazing. I'm glad I was there to witness it. And that the third song, your song, you know, it seemed like you was comfortable in that space there. You really, you know, it just was calming and soothing, and your voice was really angelic on that song. It's a good song. You know, it's a good song. You got the thumbs up from the crowd, and you got the thumbs up from me. I heard a lot of music in my days. Look, I do this every day, all day, and if it wasn't that, I wouldn't say it.
Well, you know,
I'm brutally honest, and that's it. It was dope.
one of the most hardest things to do as an artist, right? You know, I've never stood on the stage. Well, I did stand on the stage and perform before, but you know, that's not what I do. You know, that's not what I do, right? But I do know that when you walk into a place where nobody knows you and they all standing there looking at you like, all right, what you gonna do?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? To win people over out the gate, that's few and far between. You know what I mean? So I got to tip my hat to you because you know what? They did that Ain't Nobody song, and as soon as you hit, boom, you grab them immediately.
Right. You have to.
You grab them immediately, and you never let them go.
Because they were all over the place.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, everybody was in front of the stage, and I looked up, and they were all there dancing, and I was like, okay, got you.
Yeah. What's crazy is that's the hardest thing to do, and that's what makes most artists nervous. You know what I mean? So if you was nervous, nobody knew you were nervous. You know, you went up in there, you did it, you grabbed them, you wrote it out. You know, I said, "Oh, she old pro. It's gonna be this is easy. You know, this one here is gonna be easy."
The funny thing, man, sometimes the stars just line up the way they're supposed to, man.
Right.
Because originally you was slotted to perform before the band.
Yeah.
You were supposed to go on like 3:30.
Right. Exactly.
And they showed up as they started playing before you actually performed. If it would have went the way we planned it, you would have already have been, performed. So it just worked the way it was supposed to work today. Well, she got to hear them. And I saw her listening to them. She said, "Hey, pretty good."
Yeah, I stood up because the drummer and the bass. I mean, I'm a bass girl. The bass and the drums have to lock in a band, or you can't play behind me because that's the heartbeat of the song. The drum and the bass. You can add a keyboard, you can add a guitar, you can add a horn, but if the drum and the bass are not locked together, just give me a piano. I'm good because they're the meat of the song. And when I stood up because they were so locked and the grooves that they were playing to old school music, it wasn't the groove that you hear on the original song. They were doing new school grooves to old school music, and that impressed me. Yeah, it impressed me.
That was pretty good. I'm gonna tell you, you know, I've been doing this for so long, and I've worked with some people, and I've put them in situations, you know, and they just floundered. You know, like, you know, if you don't give them what we call the C spot run version of everything,
Hmm.
they can't do it.
What's that?
You know, C spot run is it's just simple and plain. It's easy, you know. But if it was easy, everybody could do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I had to see what you could do. And plus, I got the idea from Mike. I'm gonna tell you why I got the idea from Mike. You know, he asked me when we was on the phone. He talked about
Mhm.
was it gonna be band there?
Hmm.
I said, yeah, I'm gonna have a band there. You know what I mean?
He did.
But I knew that Greg and them was pretty good as a
Mhm.
band. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Not the best singers, but they're pretty good.
Well, just him.
You know what I mean?
But he is really a good singer. He just does not stay in his lane. But
Right.
he can sing,
Right.
and he sings really good. But he has to pull back a little bit and stay in his lane. He want to sing songs that's too high for him,
Yeah.
and he's straining to get those notes.
But what I didn't know was I knew they could if you all picked a song, I knew they could play it. And I said, if they can play it, she gonna knock it out the park. You know, this here, you know, we just tossed you the alley oop, you dunked it.
Who picked that song?
Who picked that
Ain't
song?
nobody.
Well, first of all, that's my tuning song. You know, whenever I produce a show, that's the song that I play to tune the sound system.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So-
So everybody know that's one of my favorite songs because that's my tune song. Even Mike know that's my tune
So
song.
listen to what you're saying, because when we did our conference call with Mike, he said, "What do you usually sing when you perform live?" I said, "Anita Baker." He's like, "Anita Baker's good. I love Anita. Don't get me wrong, but you need to do something that's going to really wow the crowd." And he said, "Love on Top,"
Mm-hmm.
and I said, Beyonce's Love on Top." Then he said, "I said I'll do some Shaka Khan." He said, there you go, Shaka Khan, Ain't Nobody, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I thought that you told the guy to do Ain't Nobody because he said that on the conference call.
Yeah. No,
But he thought of it. The keyboard player thought of it. Like you said, the stars lined up.
Yeah.
Because
It's just meant to happen.
He stood there and I said, he looked at me, he said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I didn't even know I was singing with you." He started laughing. He said, "You know, Shaka always get him. Can you do Ain't Nobody?"
Uh-huh.
I said, "Come on, let's do Ain't Nobody." He said,
Yeah.
"What key?" I said, "Play it." And then I said, "That's too high." I said, "You gotta bring it down to the original key." He said, "Oh, that's not the original key." I said, "No, do the original key." He brought it down, started playing it, and he was still playing it in the wrong key. So I still had to sing it in a higher key, but it was cool. You know, it was cool. And they weren't playing the right chords.
Mm-hmm.
So I was changing the chords with them because I didn't want it to sound crazy.
See that she's an old pro. See, she knows that the keyboard player is going to give you the key that the song is going to be sung in. You know what I mean? I have to explain that to people all the time. You know,
Man.
You know, but see, she's an old pro. She did it. She did it. But
Yeah,
but at the same time, they knew I was going to approve of that song.
Yeah.
Because they know that.
Yeah.
That's his tune song. So they know that that's a go-to song. You know what I mean? If you was there a little earlier, you heard us when I was walking out in the field there.
And they were playing Shaka's Ain't Nobody.
He was playing Shaka, and I was telling him, turn that up, turn that down, boom, 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 because this is what I do.
That's my girl, Shaka. That's my. Whew.
But that you impressed them so much, and I was telling him about some things that we got going on down the line. He said, "Can we play with her?" I said, "I don't know. She got her own people that she might want to play with. You know what I mean? You know." And Greg said, "I would really love to play for her."
That's the keyboard player?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, he asked me, he said, "You gotta, I said, "I'm not from here. I'm from Ohio." He said, "Wow, whenever you come here, man, we'll be your band. We'll play for you." I was like, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, I know you coming back. I know they're gonna bring you back." He said, "Just let me know. Just tell Terry and let me know, and we'll learn whatever you need us to learn. And I was like, but I saw myself when I stood out there. I saw them playing behind me. That's why I stood up and listened to them like, and it was only 3 pieces.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Yeah, he did his thing.
Yeah, 3 pieces. It was just drum, bass, and piano.
Yeah.
And they were slamming it. I was like, wow, that keyboard player, he can really play.
Thank
He
you.
can really
Thank you.
play.
Thank you.
He can.
That was my little protege. He came to my house. He wanted to, be in the music game.
Mm-hmm.
He came to the house with a little Casio that was about this big. I said, well, what is that?
They were serious.
I said, what is that? Come on in. He came in. They would come to my house every weekend. And any day during the week, if I was around, they would be in my house playing, learning some things.
Wow.
In fact, I gave him his first real keyboard. I said, here, take this. I gave him a Motif.
Oh, that's not just a keyboard.
Yeah.
That's a very expensive keyboard.
Yeah. I think it was the 6, the Motif 6. It had a broken key on it, So, here, take that.
And that was how many years ago?
Oh, man, that was probably 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Almost
wow.
20 years
He
ago.
stuck with it. And he
can
really play.
Oh, yeah.
He played very good.
We have collectively put together some bands. I had some guys all from Syracuse, New York. They used to come down and, I used to have these events at my house. The bands playing live back there. Had a little bit of everybody come. Like they do that little porch thing down in Maryland right now.
Mm-hmm.
My pool parties be like that. We'd have people come, sit the band up on the deck, go for it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So.
And the other entertainers, the group, they were all good. Everybody sounded good today. They did really good. I even heard the young lady sing the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
She sounded really good too.
Yeah.
So everybody that performed today sounded great.
Oh yeah. Well, you'd be surprised. But you came in and put your foot in it. Put your stank on it, like we like to say.
Put your stank on it.
Yeah. Like I said, I just love it when it's generic, nothing's planned. This is what it is, and you up to the challenge. Rod, I was sitting there thinking, I would have loved to be able to take her to the underground when Ron was there.
What's the underground?
The Village Underground was like
in New York.
Yeah.
Yes.
You would never know who gonna show up that night to perform. One night we was in there, Prince gave us a concert.
Really?
Prince walked up in there and said, I got this. Y'all sit down. He went up on the stage, had his band players with him, and we had a Prince concert in the Village. And he had just played at Madison Square Garden, wrapped up a couple hours earlier. 1 o'clock in the morning, he's in the Village Underground giving us a Prince concert.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So that was the place to be, So you couldn't be a musician in New York and not go to the Village Underground or Cafe Wap, So it was all live music. You walk up and say, I want to sing this song. The band gonna play it for you. You get up there and sing, And God bless him, rest his soul. Ron Grant was my guy. You know what I mean? And he did a duet with you. Y'all have been like, oh, come on. In fact, he wouldn't have let you get away with just doing a song. No, you got to come back and sing some more. You know what I mean? And I sat there and I said, yeah, she would have killed it in the underground.
Ronnie.
Ron Grant. Yeah, my cousin Ronnie. Yeah. Now, that joker there, all I can say, different.
We did his last tour with him.
I remember.
And he laid on the speaker, and I walked over to him, and I said, Mr. Vandross, he said, don't call me that. He said, just call me Luther. I said, I feel funny calling you Luther. He said, why? That's my name. Call me Luther. And he sat up. He said, now what can I do for you? I said, wow.
Yes.
I said, well, I just want to tell you, you are awesome. He said, thank you. He said, I don't feel good today. And he laid back down on the speaker.
Well, you know what's funny is you talk about that tour there. I was there.
You were?
I was there. Well, no, I was in Texas when y'all went to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the Texas show because I was down there and I was working with Lincoln them. You know, Lincoln them. You know, they from Texas.
Who's Lincoln?
This guy Link. You know, him and Delight work together a lot. You remember Delight?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know Delight? All them years you worked with Gerald?
What did they call him? They called him
Delight. Yeah, that was his name. Delight.
When he was with him with Levert or
No.
with Gerald?
When Gerald solo that Million Times song he sang, I Made Good Love a Million Times, that song that Gerald sang. You know the song I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Delight wrote that song.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Okay, yeah, but
like 1 million times.
mhm.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
So I was down in Texas with them. I think she was at that show too.
Yeah, was that Luther and
Yeah.
Gerald and
Uh-huh.
Angie Stone?
And Angie Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Angie.
You know, that was, I
Yep.
said that was the ultimate concert right there.
She was sick too.
Wow.
She was sick too. Me and Angie were like sisters. She was my husband, who was with Sugar Hill, introduced me to Angie Stone, and she said, "I want to take you on the road with me." And I said, "Well, I'm on the road with Gerald." She said, "When you're not with him, can you go out with me?" She said, "I want you to meet this young guy that I'm working with. He's getting ready to come out. The name of his song is Brown Sugar." She said, "I want you to sing on another song that we're doing called Lady." And I said, okay. So I was at her house and they were getting ready to go in the studio and they were laying down the tracks and I met him. He looked like a little kid, D'Angelo.
Mm-hmm.
And they went in the studio and they did Lady. And then she said, we're going on tour and we're going to take you with us. And I went on his first tour with him, his Brown Sugar tour, with me, Angie, and a girl named Debbie. And that's when, he did a real tour. That was a real tour because we went to London. We went everywhere because Brown Sugar was so hot.
Yeah. When that
It was so hot.
Yeah. Yes.
We were everywhere. He was doing that song. And then I left and went off tour with him, went back with Gerald.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you, what is your biggest highlight of working with somebody?
My biggest highlight was because I was green. I was just a girl who could really, really, really sing. Like Flatfoot sing Jennifer Holiday notes, just like belt them out with a straight face. And that amazed people. Like, she just hit that note and she didn't flinch. But I found out that was more of a curse than a blessing because people, I didn't understand this, people would be in awe that they wouldn't, so in awe they wouldn't clap.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dang, I must have blew it. I must not be hitting them like I supposed to.
You stun them.
But they just was in awe, like, and then they would stop, and sometimes I would just go to the next song because, that could be discouraging if you don't understand it. And I didn't understand it.
Well,
And then someone told me, you need to do more than just sing. You can sing. We all know you can sing. Do something else. Dance. Move. Move your arms. When you sing a song that about a woman that don't care about a man, throw your hands. Just you need more emotion. And then I started doing little stuff, and people started clapping more. I was like, oh, so singing ain't that important.
Yeah.
So I need to put a little more oomph to it. Move around a little bit. And when I did, it got better and better and better. It got to a point where it became real because stuff started happening in my life. Like when I got married, my husband was a drug addict and I didn't know it. When I found out, and then we moved away. I mean, so many things happened. I'm writing a book. So many things happened in my life that changed me inside. So it came out when I sang.
Mhm.
And it was naturally, the emotion was naturally there after
See,
that.
I like see. We're gonna play nice in the sandbox. You know why? Because I'm very emotional. My sensitivity gets in the way all the time. You know what I mean? So I write from a place of sensitivity. You know what I mean? So, you know, just like that little ditty I played for you today, you know, when my sensitivity get in the way, I get real creative.
But you know what? That's great because if you could turn your sensitivity into what you played for me today, those are hits. That song that you played for me today, I was kind of disappointed because you didn't say, I want you to sing. I just knew you was going to say, I really see you singing this song, but you was like, what do you think about this song? I was like, oh, it's great. Come on.
Well,
What?
you know, reason why I asked you that question, because, you know, if you're going to be around, at some point, we're going to be doing something where, you know, I'm going to say, here, check this out. What you think? I want to make sure that real emotional stuff is okay with you. Because some people ain't good with that. You know what I mean? They, you know, I heard what you did. So I said, I think she could do it. You know what I mean?
Ballads.
Yeah.
Mike says I have too many ballads.
Uh,
I need to do some up tempo and
uh,
mid tempo. He says you can really sing a ballad, but you need more up tempo stuff.
well, that stuff come too. But you know what? For me, and you can play with the tempo of any song, right?
Mhm.
But if the lyrical content shows emotion, that means it can relate to anybody.
That's right.
And see me, I'm a master of phrases. I was king of the hooks. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I always have a play on words. You know, like count something 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, stuff like that. You know, that's just like saying, you know, you got to take a time out. You know,
Mhm.
now people say I'm gonna take 15. No, I'm gonna take 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. You know what I mean? So, you know, like, so there's always a play on words. So
Right.
that's the emotional side of doing things. So, you know,
Well, the song that I heard today was a hit. That's a hit song. And the words, when you played it the second time, I listened to the words. And the words are so clever.
Yeah.
And when she started explaining the song to me, because when I first listened to it, I'm like, well, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? I couldn't put it into perspective until she said it. When she said what she said, I said, oh, I started listening to the words and I said, oh, okay, I hear what it's about now. But it sounds good. Some people, when they hear a song that sounds good, they don't care what it's saying.
Right.
They
Well,
want to just hear it.
What you always say, Rod?
I say, talent will get you in the door, but your character will keep you in the room.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's
that's
right.
it.
That's right.
But we always say that, you know what? You can hear a song and like a song, but you don't understand a song
Right.
until you're going through something.
That's right.
Then you understand the
That's-
lyrics.
Yeah,
that's
we say,
exactly what I
yeah,
just
when
said.
you
You can listen
enjoy
to
it, yeah, that's what we say. When things are good, you're enjoying the music. When things are bad, you understand the lyrics.
Mhm.
Something to that.
That's true.
There you go.
That's true. When you hear a song and you're going through that, it's not even about the music. They can play bad notes or whatever. It's about the words. You listen to the words and you going through that, so they resonate with you. But when you just having a good time and the melody and you just groove with the melody, why are you bopping your head to that? That's about somebody dying. I don't care. I like the song. It
Yeah.
sounds great. So yeah, that's true. Very true. But I'm pinching myself every day because from the day that I met you
Mhm.
at the little talent show thingy for Gerald,
Mhm.
and I was not gonna go. I was not gonna go. Cynthia was like, "You gotta do it. It's for Gerald." I'm like, "Girl, I do not want to go." She said, "Well, I want you to come." And I love Cynthia. Her name is Cynthia Tyre. I love her. I said, "Okay, Cynthia, I'm gonna come." I drove 6 hours
Mhm.
to sing one song.
Well, you know, I saw you sing that one song, and I said to myself,
You did.
I said, why did she sing one song?
Right.
know?
And I only sang half of a song.
You know
And you want to know why?
why?
Because the first set was so long that the second set they cut short. The second set was the Joe Levert tribute. The
Yeah.
first set was just local artists performing.
Mhm.
So the second set, which was the set that everybody came to really see, was cut short. So when it got to my song, they cut it short.
Mhm.
So I couldn't sing the whole song. I could only sing the first verse and the hook,
Yeah.
and I was off the stage.
Yeah, I sat there. I said, I'm very analytical. So I critiqued everybody, and I said, I don't know why they did that to her. Why she just sing one song?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the other stuff, the first half, the singers were pretty decent. They were pretty good,
Yeah, but they sang 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah. Now that second half, I was like, some of y'all got a little skin in the game, but
Mhm.
I really wasn't impressed.
They were
Yeah.
trying too hard to compete because everybody on the second set had an agenda with Gerald.
Mhm.
They were either on one of his songs, they were in his life, something.
Mhm.
So they were competing with each other because we had Little G
Mhm.
and he wanted more time. He was just supposed to be a special guest with Gordon Park,
Mhm.
who were guys that made up Levert, the Rude Boys. They just all members from each thing came together and called themselves Gordon Park. And Little G had on their single, he just had a little part where he sang. He didn't want that. He was Little G.
Mhm.
So he took over.
Well, he was good. He was good.
He's Little G.
He
So
was
it
good. He
like,
was good.
these people are going to know who I am. I'm
He was
not
good.
just coming to sing a little bit.
He was good.
And then Gordon Park came up and they did their thing. It was just too much. They was
Can I
competing.
tell the truth?
Yeah.
They sucked.
Gordon Park.
Sucked.
Oh my goodness.
And guess what? The sad part about they're better than what they did.
Yes, they are.
They are better than what they
They
did.
are really good. But they
know.
were upset. That's another thing. Never go on stage upset when you have to sing because it will affect your performance.
Mhm.
You have to tunnel vision yourself. Whatever happens before you walk up there, you gotta squash it and go up there, do your best. Then when you get off, you handle it. But never go on stage upset.
Yeah, well, I tell everybody, you don't get one opportunity to make a first impression.
Hey, that's
So
it.
so especially when as an entertainer,
Yes.
everybody ain't from your hometown and got a
Mhm.
personal relationship with you.
Mhm.
You still have to make people say, will I buy a ticket or buy a sandwich?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So you want to put your best foot forward that they say, I'm buying a ticket. She come back to town, I'm buying a ticket. So when they did what they did, because I was familiar with those guys anyway,
Mhm.
as individuals and,
Mhm.
hey, like I got a little resume.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I've been around the block. I know who you are. I know what you do, right? I would not buy a ticket. I would buy a sandwich.
And that's because of the performance that they did that
Yes.
night. And you know that they are better.
Yeah.
But that just, that
Yeah.
first impression.
Yeah, and you know what? Black Rose is a very good singer.
He's
Phenomenal. I think he's very, very singer.
And James Black
Yeah.
is an awesome singer.
What I couldn't understand was why y'all screaming like that and doing all these runs and riffs
Competing.
and all this other stuff. It's like, dude, I hear nothing but noise.
Hey, teamwork makes the dream work. That's all I can say. If you in a group, you gotta sing like a group.
And meanwhile, me sitting there, you came in there, hit the stage. If you blink, you'd have missed her, Rud. and Rud, you was there, and you probably missed her.
Wow. What
You-
show was
you-
it? Where was this?
This is in Philly
When-
at Harris.
At Harris.
Oh, I was there.
Yeah, like I said, you probably missed her because if you blink, you missed her, right?
You was there. I didn't meet you.
Yeah, he
I
was
was
there.
there.
He was there.
I was there. I
Uh,
was the cute guy that had on a little sport jacket with a Yankee cap.
yeah.
But honestly, I got caught up. I went to the restroom and I got caught up talking to some of the vendors because I was putting together vendors for our show too, and some of these people wanted to participate. So by the time I came back, I did catch a piece of her. I didn't catch the whole thing. I just caught a snip. But
So-
I knew y'all went back there afterwards, and
Yeah.
y'all had a conversation. But I didn't go back there.
What got me the most was I was saying to myself, did they design this way? I mean, like
No.
you
I
gave
didn't
them,
know- I didn't
they
know-
gave them so much time, and
Right,
they gave
it
you no
cut-
time. And I was like,
Mhm.
she was entertaining.
I didn't
That was
know
noise.
that I didn't know that my song was cut until I started. So I walked on the stage, and then they said, "You only got 2 minutes," and I'm like, 2 minutes? It's like, yeah, because they're saying we got to cut the show and we want to get the finale in, and I'm like, okay, as long as y'all don't mess with my money. Oh, guess what? I've already been paid, so
Mhm.
whatever y'all want me to do. And she was like, I never paid nobody that much money to do one song. I said, I came here expecting to do 2.
Mhm. Well, you know,
And I went up there and talked about Jero and how I met him. And they were like, I said, well, I want to sing this song that he wrote. And then went into it.
yeah. Well,
That time thing is real.
Well,
Mhm.
When
see-
you're in those situations, they got unions.
that's
Yeah,
right.
that
That was a union
That
shop.
was a union
Yeah,
shop. That's all that was.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Casino.
Like today is our thing. We had a little flexibility, but in those situations, if you get off track, it's no wiggle
It's
room.
over.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And sometimes some people don't even get to perform. We've been in that situation. They still got to get paid, but they just don't have time.
Well, that's why what we're doing with the R&B fest that we're doing next year, we chose the Gaylord for a reason, you know.
That's huge. I
The
looked that
fabulous Gaylord.
up. Yes,
Put some
that's
respect on that when you
huge.
say that.
Yeah.
I looked that up. It's huge.
Oh yeah, that place is
It's huge.
it's
amazing.
indoors, but you're outdoors.
I saw all the acts that are on there, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a huge, almost like an Essence Fest or something."
Yeah, small version of that,
Mhm.
you know. And we trying to do something for everybody, you know, to cover
All the genres and the
yeah,
generations.
you know, the generations. We trying to,
Mhm.
you know, cover all the generations and whatnot. So
I saw the Temptations. I
Yeah.
saw Keith Washington, Christopher Williams, Eric Benet. I was like, wow, this is going to be a big show.
yeah, we trying to do something different. You know, like what we're doing now is, you know, nowadays sometimes you have to be a part of the paradigm shift, you know, because you don't see those. You know, the Essence Festival gave you that vibe all the time. You know, if nowhere else, you was gonna have that there. But where does the mother and the daughter, or the mother and son, get to actually go out to an event together?
and party.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or maybe the
And
grandmother and the grandchild.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's a paradigm shift, because if
Mhm.
if we just said that we have Russell Tompkins Jr., who's the original voice of the Stylistics,
Mhm.
and the new Stylistics, the Spinners and the Whispers, and you
Yeah,
know,
you're just gonna get that.
right? So that's grandma's music.
That's generation.
Right.
That
So-
generation.
The people that's in their 40s and 50s, they're not coming.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's not appealing to them because they don't really want to party with their mother or their grandmother, right? So we're gonna do the paradigm shift. We're gonna give y'all Dave Hollister. We can give a little Eric Benet, Christopher Williams, Keith Washington, Melissa Morgan, Levert Experience,
Mhm.
Force MDs,
Okay.
right?
DJ Rod.
Yep.
Okay. I have a question. The Vert Experience.
Yeah.
I've never heard them perform.
No?
No.
Well, I gotta say one thing. They pull it off.
Okay.
They pull it off. And for some reason, you know, some people push back on it for whatever reasons. But most of the people who I've heard question their ability have not seen them perform. You know,
I've never seen him, but people who have seen him say that, and some people, everybody has their own opinion. Some people who go and they hear Levert Experience, you got someone singing Gerald songs that Gerald leads. You got somebody singing songs that Sean leads. It's Levert Experience. So now you've incorporated with the Levert Experience Rude Boy songs, Men at Large songs, and Levert songs. Because Dave is from Men at Large,
right?
Joe is from the Rude Boys,
Mhm.
and Mark is from Levert.
Mhm.
So people who are tunnel vision to go to those shows, they want to hear somebody that sounds like Gerald. They already got Rude Boy, they already got him, and they already got Dave. But when you go step up to sing a Gerald song, they want to hear somebody that sounds close to Gerald, and that was one of the complaints that people were saying, like, yes, it ain't doing it for me because it don't sound like Gerald.
In my opinion, those people don't want to hear nobody sing Gerald music.
That's true.
That's the problem.
That's true though. That's right.
That's the problem. They are so smitten, and you know what? They don't give anybody an opportunity.
They don't.
You know what I mean? So
They don't.
if they took a step back and listened to the performance, they are paying homage, and they do a pretty damn good job.
Exactly. Huh?
You know what I mean?
They paying homage.
They paying
That's
homage.
Not
You know what I
trying to be
mean?
that person.
So
Right, and those people, and unfortunately, like you said, those people don't. They came thinking and hoping and praying that Gerald would be there. If they had their way, they look up at the stage and he'd be there.
yeah,
And nothing would have satisfied them.
that's the problem. You can't
Mhm.
satisfy them.
I think you hit the nail on the head, putting that out there like that, because it's just certain records. Even what I do is certain records you don't remix. You know, like "Love Is the Message" was one of them.
Right.
Philadelphia Sound Classics. They didn't want to hear nobody mess with that song.
Mhm.
They liked it and loved it just the way it is. LL Cool J did a rap song off of it, and it didn't even
Mhm.
buzz. Now we know LL is, he's the GOAT.
Well,
They don't want to hear it tampered with.
Right. They just don't.
That's it.
but let me say this: that group of people, right, ain't that big. Because if you go outside of that group of people, people love their performance.
Mhm.
People love their performance.
But you always gonna get one or two at the show.
Oh yeah, you go. You
I saw them. I
At
like
the
them.
show.
you gonna get one or two of them now. You
At
know.
the show. What did you come for? Because Gerald's not here.
You know he ain't here.
We like them.
Oh,
We
my
like
goodness.
that. We like that
so
show.
but if you go there, you know, and you ain't expecting you not part of that circle of people
Who want to hear?
who feel that they are so close to the situation, they're never going to accept anybody
Mhm.
singing any of those songs. You know what I mean?
I know a few people like
That's
that.
true though.
Yeah.
They don't
That's
have
true.
anything good to say about the show.
And then you know what? Mark was there.
Yeah, he
You know what I'm
was,
saying?
he
So
was
what-
part of Levert,
So like,
but he
Can-
wasn't a singer.
can you show him a little respect?
Mhm.
And most of the songs the hit songs from Levert, he wrote.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, he wrote them.
Absolutely. Look, I worked those songs. So I know. But again, that circle of people, when I look at them, I say they're a bunch of hypocrites. And you know what? Some people you just can't satisfy.
Yeah.
You know? And I hate to say this, but they're super groupies.
Well, you know,
They
crazy
they're
part
just
about
super groupies.
some of them go there just to do that.
You know what I mean?
Some people go to the show just to be the critic.
Hmm.
Let me see. Oh yeah, see, I told you it wasn't that.
Yeah, well, you know what? But let me give an example, right? My cousin Ronnie, right? So many people, there was quite a few people who went out and, gave you the Luther experience, right? Or
Mhm.
whatever,
Mhm.
And some of those guys were real good.
Mhm.
If you closed your eyes, you thought Ronnie was in there singing, right? But, you know, Ronnie's fans appreciated it. Even the guys who really didn't sound exactly like Ronnie, they could hit a note or two, but they still embraced him because they loved the
Mhm.
music. It was about Ronnie, but it was also about the music.
Mhm.
Now, his fans are different, you know. Now, the Levert fans are totally different. You know what I mean? It was funny one time, right? I'm not gonna say no name, but it's somebody y'all know, right? We was doing some events here at Fernwood years ago, and they came to the event, right? And they didn't, because I wasn't a groupie, right? They said, I don't know him.
Mhm.
He don't be around it. Look, I don't do that. What y'all do, I don't do. I come to work.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get my check. I'm gonna get my money. I'm going. You know what I'm saying? We men amongst men. You know what I mean? He get him put his pants on the same way I do. Respect me for who I am. I'm respect for who you are. You know what I'm saying? And my way of life is, you don't have to respect me, but don't disrespect me.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So, and this one particular woman said she had to make some phone calls
To find out if
to
you
call
were really.
people in the inner circle and say, you know this guy? For somebody to say, yeah, you from New York, right? Yeah. That's one of Sylvia's people. You know what I mean? He with the record company. Yeah. Because I wasn't jocking nobody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is what I do. So that lady had to call around because somebody that mentioned to her, yeah, well, you know what? He know them. He worked with them. And she said, no, he didn't. No, he don't. She was so that entwined
Mhm.
in them. You
Or
don't
she
know.
thought she was.
You don't know everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean?
She thought she was.
Like here, you look around the room here, you see a lot of different plaques on the wall. People don't realize there's so many people involved with different artists in this game. Just because you don't see their name or know them, don't mean they ain't getting the check.
Right.
You know what I mean? See, I'd rather, I don't want fame.
Mhm.
I want the fortune.
Mhm.
Give me the fortune, give them the fame. You know what? Because being anonymous is priceless. Because I done been around all these guys, and even Gerald, you know what? They got to put on a happy face all the time and
All
pretend
the
that they like
time.
people. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, when, you want to go out and have a meal, with your lady friend or something, or with your family or whatever, and there's always somebody that's trying to get a picture. Somebody trying to get somebody want to talk. You're like, I don't feel like talking. I don't want to do that.
And now you're rude. Now
Mhm.
you're snob.
Mhm.
Now you're, because you don't want to talk to one. It only takes one person to get something out there about you that's totally not true.
Yeah. So,
That happens in all industries. Music, sports, get a bad rap. And the media will spin it.
Mhm.
Everybody clout chasing, they do it just for likes. They're not
Mhm.
thinking about it's a lot of sacrifices when you're in this industry. Look at the people that supported this event today. Look at the young lady next to me. She drove 6 hours to get here and perform.
Yeah.
Look at Miss Phillips, Linda. Look at the sacrifice she made to be here today.
All the way from Texas.
Yeah.
Look at Candy. Look at people even though it was our little community event, there was people from all over there.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of people from
Well,
New York, New Jersey, the whole DMV here, there. It was probably more people outside of the community than maybe actually in the community.
You know what was ironic about today? You know, when Dolly came and I was walking around the park with Dolly, right? And I said, just imagine if the pool wasn't open today, right?
Mm-hmm.
All those people that was in the pool would have been in the field. You know what I mean? It was a hot day, so
Mhm.
they were in the pool. Now I walked down by the pavilion on that side where the playground was. So many people that came out to get book bags for their kids because they gave out book bags in the pavilion. There was so many people over there with the kids. You know what I mean? I said, just imagine if they all were, if you eliminate those options, you know what I mean? And they were all in that field. It was a lot that's a big
There was
part.
a lot of people.
It's a big part. You know what I mean?
Right before she was getting ready to perform, I gotta do a little shameless disclaimer. I said, give me a minute, I gotta use the restroom.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked back there. That's when y'all were figuring out the band situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I was just gonna go there and come right back. But when I walked over there, like I saw a black couple there. They were just pushing their kid in the swing.
Yeah.
It was like a lot of that type of stuff going
Right.
on.
Yeah.
I said, hey, y'all about to miss an amazing show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you might want to make your way over there. But, you know, the kid, just like, you know, they on their own mission.
Mhm.
You push that, you better keep pushing, Umpa.
Yeah,
You better keep pushing that slide. We can hear it from over here.
And look, exactly. I had to do the bait and switch, so my son and them came over so I can get back up over there. You know what I mean? You know, when I disappeared, I was
It was a lot, man.
being Upa.
There was a lot of people out there. It wasn't. Nobody was on top of each other. Everybody had their space. And you know, shout out to all the vendors. It was a lot of. It was a lot of effort that people made to support us.
But you see, Sharina, she said we do. Ain't nothing scripted. It's all
Yeah,
generic. We just regular people from down the street having a conversation.
Look,
You know.
somebody trying to call in, but we ain't doing that right now. We got 888-304-4401. But I see the screen light up. But listen, we got superstars in our presence, and they made the sacrifice to come here. I got to shout out to DJ Supreme. Supreme hit me up right now. I know he's like, hey, why my show not on? We had to hijack the station.
We hijacked it.
We sorry, man. This is
Yeah.
like it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and we have to seize the moment when the superstars in town, you know, and that's it. We seize the opportunity, but there's no love lost. We appreciate all you do, man. We appreciate everybody that did anything.
Yeah.
If nobody have to do anything for you,
That's right.
that's what my father used to tell me. And he said, if somebody does do something for you, you better appreciate it. And that's just life.
Well,
But it was amazing. Again, I'm keep saying the same thing. Look, I even like what I did, and I don't toot my own horn, but I thought it was perfect. We was just playing a little the songs with the radio station drops. I wasn't trying to go too hard, but I was playing some good stuff.
Yeah, you were.
Set the tone.
yeah.
Then the young lady set the tone with the gospel song. She came in, the first
She
performance.
sounds good.
Yeah, it was. I saw people in the crowd. They were singing the words along with the song. It was
Yeah.
a song that everybody knew, and she got in and got out. Perfect.
Yeah. This
She didn't try to do too much or whatever. She did what she had to do. She got out. Now we had Strategy. He did a good job too. He helped out. The other DJ,
Big Fury.
Fury, big Fury. Put some respect on it. I said Fury, so it's Big Fury.
Hey, listen.
Fury did his thing too.
No, normally I wear the pork chop cologne, right? Sharina, you had on a pork chop perfume today. Yes, you did.
The
Yes, you
milkshake
did.
was bringing the boys to the yard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, look here. Sharif got in trouble. Candy told Sharif he was fired.
Uh-oh.
He
Oh
was-
yeah, because these guys, everybody wanted to take pictures with me, and Candy was like, "Take the picture, take the picture." She kept telling me, "Take the picture, take the picture."
Yeah.
She said, "Where is he at?" He was standing over there in front of the stage. She went over to him and said, "You're fired. You see, she's over there. Everybody want to take a picture with her. She's tired. She shouldn't have to fight these people off.
Yeah.
That's your job." He was like, Nobody told me anything. I don't know I was supposed to be over there. I'm coming right now. She said, now it's too late. We already took pictures now. It's too late.
But I gotta say, we had a great time today, and we
Yeah, it was
appreciate the
good.
fact that you took time to come be a part of this thing with us. But one thing leads to another. You know what I mean? So look,
And it does. You're absolutely right.
my partner that we put together this very, very expensive, big extravaganza, right? And that we're even honoring Gerald,
Right.
Levert,
You are.
and Sexo, right?
See how
we give
how stuff just
we giving awards away. We doing this here, and why we doing this, right? Then we're gonna wrap this up real quick. I'm just gonna drop this ditty on you. You know why we chose to do that? We wasn't trying to do a money grab or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because with the show we got,
right.
we don't have
already big. You don't
we don't have to honor anybody.
Right.
We don't have
That's
to do that,
That's
right? But where I sat at in the circle, right? I know about every phone call that came in, that came to the executives, and I know what they put money behind and what they didn't put money behind. I understood the business, right? But how can somebody not get Grammys and then you give them a Grammy
when they die.
when they pass? Right?
Mhm.
That tells you that they had Grammy worthy
Potential
material all the
That's
time.
right. That's right.
But the way the Grammys work, people get votes, right? And there's a lot of what you would think of common people who have votes. You know what I mean?
Who's voting?
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised, All you really need to do is work in the industry, have a job, and you might get a vote. You get to cast your vote, right?
Because
So
some
like-
of them people they got Grammys.
Like Jackie Nunez that worked here with us at the radio station, right? She votes on the Grammy. She got a vote. You know what I mean? And she does primary oldie music. I mean, like doo-wop music. But
So
she
you get
gets
to keep your vote every time.
she got a vote. She gets to vote
Wow.
on. She get a ballot. She get the vote, right? But the reason why I'm saying that is, think of any tribute that Levert or Gerald wasn't a part of. Can you name me one that they did a tribute from, I want to say from 1990 until he passed, that he wasn't a part of, or the group Levert wasn't a part of? That says a lot right there if you're a music person.
Mhm.
Because they're going to show up and show out. That's why they always get invited. You know what I mean? And because they were always invited and never rewarded, they got the invite, but never the reward. And you know what? Today, now, nobody will ever mention them again. You know what I mean? So me being who I am and being where I was at and knowing how it works,
Mhm.
I said, man, these dudes are deserving because they had great songs, great albums, and at some point, the label said, stop. Don't put no more money into that, because they wanted to promote somebody else,
Mhm.
or they didn't like somebody else that was associated, that was tied to them. You know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah, no.
so there's a whole lot of things that can stop you from getting your flowers, because the Grammy album wasn't the best body of work. You know what I mean? That-
Oh, you mean Gerald's In My Song?
Right. That was not the best body of work. It was good, but I can go back quite a few albums and say that album right there
Should have got a Grammy.
was Grammy worthy.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Where there was albums that clearly had 5 or 6 singles on them. And people said, nope, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
We just need him to go gold. And if he goes platinum, great. But that's it. They didn't want to push it.
To where it could have went
Where-
platinum.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not hard to go platinum if you have everybody behind you that's pushing it. I mean, nowadays you can go platinum just by if you are like, for instance, I found out that if you are a Jay-Z or Beyonce or somebody with that type of financial
The
money, you can
product's
take
getting
yourself.
shipped platinum.
It'll ship platinum.
Yeah.
It's already platinum before, and the longer you stay up there, you'll stay up there.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, the biggest, you remember BMG in Columbia House?
Mm-hmm.
Remember those? Those were like clearance houses
Mhm.
for records, right? Back in the days, they would ship albums platinum,
Mm-hmm.
right? So guess what? When those albums stayed on the shelves, they get to send them back,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can get 5 cassettes or 5 CDs, whatever, for $3.99. You remember those
They
deals?
already paid for it.
They already paid for
They
it,
just want
right.
to get a little bit of their money back.
Look,
because
They want to get some of the money back,
Right.
and they want to get rid of them.
get rid of them.
So
right?
now those numbers count.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even the returns. People didn't realize that a lot of people ship albums gold, and it may have only sold 200,000 copies. So we do the other 300,000 copies. You get to return to the record company.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they send them through clearance houses.
I used to always wonder when you get a budget, $500,000 budget, $1 million, I didn't give away $1 million budget. Where do they get that money to
What-
give you?
Oh, well, first of all, there's so much fat in again, there's only 6 media companies in the world, and all those companies are owned by those 6 companies, and they have probably $1 trillion that they can work with.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
I never knew that.
There is so much money they have there, and then everything's a write-off, even though they make you recoup it.
Yes, they do. When they give it to you,
They write
you
it
gotta,
off.
You gotta pay it back.
They write it off, and you're gonna pay it back. But
And it's already dead, but you're gonna pay it
oh
back.
yeah,
You're gonna pay it back.
it's so many angles in the game that is it's just unbelievable. So,
Mm.
like I said, once you know the ins and outs, and you say like, these dudes got shafted. Like for instance, Deborah Cox. What do you think?
Oh my
What do you think about Deborah
God.
Cox?
I love her.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I wrote music for her. I was with a production company by the name of Aristofer, and it was 3 guys, and I was the only female writer and producer in the company. And EMI signed the company,
Mhm.
and we went to New York, and we sat with all these people. Peter Edge. We sat with oh God, we sat with so many people who was just welcome the group to the company, and they said we need to write some stuff for Deborah Cox. I'm like, okay, write some stuff for Deborah Cox, and right around the time that she was a bad girl. Whitney was the talk of the town. So Deborah, who sounds a lot like Whitney, who now sings all of Whitney's songs on all of these movies that they have about Whitney, Deborah's singing them. So it's like she just had to stay in the background. I never understood that.
I'm gonna tell you why. Some record companies have deals, right? See, a female artist would make a mistake signing to Arista when Whitney was there.
Mm-mm.
Because in Whitney's deal, another female artist could not get marketed and promoted the same way you did Whitney. They could not put the money behind you.
They
That
put
to put a
behind
video.
Whitney.
You couldn't get the type of video
Mm-mm.
that Whitney would have gotten. You know, when you couldn't get billboards, you couldn't get a whole lot of stuff. So Deborah Cox's mistake was she signed to Arista, right? And that was Whitney's label. You know what I mean? So when
Well,
she had
Lisa,
that,
so did Lisa Stanfield.
right? So that song, how did we get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. They didn't expect that song
To go, as
to
big
go
as it did.
where it went. You know what I mean? And then she had We Can't Be Friends with RL,
Mhm.
right? Now, love Whitney, right? And she had a deal she had. But Clive Davis didn't want to piss Whitney off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Nobody wanted
So-
to piss me.
so Deborah Cox had to suffer because she had a 7-album deal with Arista that she would never be able to do. And once you know nobody's supposed to be here and We Can't Be Friends, they didn't want it to go platinum,
But it did.
but they couldn't stop it,
Mhm.
right? So now Whitney was like, what y'all doing? If you notice, you didn't see no videos after that. They gave her the 2 videos. That was it.
That was it. It was over
They
for
put
her.
everything else, every other record sale had to be word of mouth, grassrooted, because
Or in a, like we did write a song for her. She did it on the Dr. Dolittle soundtrack.
Mhm. Oh,
But that was it.
but see, Dr. Doolittle's is a movie that's being promoted, you know, so if somebody put money behind it,
Right.
it's money behind the
The
movie.
movie. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So in other words, they were allowing her to do other little things that took her away from stepping on Whitney's feet.
That's right, because when your label mate is the anchor
Mm-hmm.
of the label,
Right. You can't.
most of them have that deal.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And that's why so many artists would do whatever they can do to get out of those contracts. That's why they stopped saying, I'm not giving you can't sign me to a 5-album deal or 7-album
Mhm.
deal or 10-album deal. I'll give you 2 albums. Because if I can't get what I want, I gotta be able to leave.
Mhm.
You know, I want to pull a Marvin Gaye. I'm gonna go in the studio and I'm gonna bang out 12 songs, 16
That's what
songs,
Marvin did.
and say, here,
Right. I'm doing
Now I'm
my own
going.
stuff. Right.
and don't even pay me. Pay my ex-wife. I owe my ex-wife money. Give her. Here. Sell this
Right.
record. Pay my
Right.
tab with her. You know what I mean? That's why they do that. So the business is funny. So, but you have to pay attention. Like I said, you want to honor people who need to be honored. You know what I mean? Now them brothers was on everybody's, show. When they did an honor for somebody, it could be a female singer,
Yes, Patty.
and they still get them boys right there. Get them
Mhm.
boys right there. You know what I mean?
When they
So
honored Patty, Joe was right there.
Yeah.
When they honored the OJs, Levert was right there. I mean, anybody they honored,
yeah,
when they honored Luther, Joe was there.
when they did Ronnie, yeah. So
Yeah.
you have to pay attention to all those little signs and symbols and different things that happen to really know what's going on. So if you haven't been behind the scenes in the business, you won't recognize that. You know what I mean?
Wow. I
And-
just thought about something. All those labels that I could have got signed to, maybe the reason why I thought it was just people not wanting me to, but maybe because each label already had a superstar female artist. I
Well-
would have just been sitting there.
Well, let me tell you how it worked. How it worked. At one point, I'm going back into the 90s, right? The industry was very prejudiced. I ain't gonna say racist, I'm gonna say prejudice,
Mhm.
right? Totally different things, right? There was only gonna be one big girl
Mhm.
that they're gonna put money behind. Just one. You know what I mean? So if you was a big girl, I don't care how good you sing. Melanie Daniels is one of the greatest singers I ever heard, female singer. Melody Daniels, all that stuff that you thought Mariah Carey was doing wasn't Mariah Carey, it was Melody Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You know, so you know how some artists got the background singers behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mariah would go out and Melody Daniels was behind that curtain.
Mm.
So all them high notes, all that glass breaking stuff, that wasn't Mariah. What's Mariah?
And you know what? Mariah did not perform live for like after her first hit song, Vision of Love. Then she came out with all these other hit songs.
And she jacked
She
Mickey
never-
Howard style for that song.
She never did a live performance. And the word started getting around. Why doesn't Mariah perform live? Why? Nobody has ever seen her perform live. But then when she started performing live, she was having problems hitting those notes.
Until
She couldn't hit those notes.
they went and got Melanie Daniels, who was a regular in the Village Underground. You know what I mean? And they took her out on the road, and they would have these nice, sexy little background singers
Mm-hmm.
for you to see.
Mhm.
But Melanie Daniels was sitting on that damn stool behind that curtain, hitting all those notes,
Wow.
singing those songs, hitting those notes. Whenever she had to hit a note, it was Melanie. She faked her way through that. It was Melanie Daniels, you know. And if you get a chance, Google Melanie Daniels, you know. And she's singing a lot of gospel right now. Great person, you know. She was like one of Ron Grant's partners, you know. And it's so much of that stuff going on, you know. These guys up there, but it was so much of that going on, you know, that people don't realize what's going on.
Mhm.
And see, guess what? When Mariah did the Vision of Love song, right? Mickey Howard was having label issues, you know.
Because her husband was going up in the label, beating up people.
Yeah, she was having label issues. So coming off that big album she had,
Mhm.
you know,
Love Under New Management.
Love Under New Management, coming off that album,
I toured with her on that.
she
tour.
should have, her next album should have came out almost immediately after that, right? They were having label issues. They were having issues, right? So if you listen to Vision and Love, people didn't know that wasn't Mickey Howard, because when Tommy Mottola put that record out, he let people assume it was Mickey Howard. They didn't do a video for her. They didn't do nothing. So by the time it was said that, oh, that's not Mickey Howard, that's Mariah Carey,
Mhm.
you were already hooked, line, and sunk. You know what I mean? Because they put the money behind the song, they played it, they made the top 100, top 40, top 20, now it's in the top 10, right? Now they dropped the video. And you say, who is that? I thought that was Mickey Howard. Because you just assume what you assume. And it wasn't Mickey
Wow,
Howard.
they said that Vision of Love was Mickey Howard.
When you listen to that song,
Oh my God.
listen closer to that song, and the whole cadence, everything, the way she sang that song, you know, then go listen to that Love of the New Management album. You're gonna say, oh, she was imitating Mickey Howard on this song. Because what happens is when there's a void, they bring somebody else in to replace you because they don't want to lose that money. So if you can hoodwink and cable told people that it's the same people, R. Kelly. R. Kelly, when he was a public announcement and they did Honey Love, he imitated Aaron Hall because Guy was having
He
issues.
did.
Guy was having issues with Gene, you know.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, so they was having those issues, so there was a lull. You know what I mean? With Gene and Bill Underwood and them. So Jive Records, R. Kelly and Public Announcement wasn't a group. but Jive Records had two good artists, a group and a soloist.
We put them together.
They didn't want to compete against themselves. You know, why compete against yourself? You know, so they put them together, right? And the opportunity for them to really have a hit record, they did Honey Love. And when you heard Honey Love, you heard Aaron Hall sing.
Mm-hmm.
You heard Aaron Hall. You know what I mean? And you was on that Private Line tour with Gerald,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you remember when R. Kelly and Public Announcement was the opening act.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
And
mean?
we got the first show. After the first show, they got into it with them. They got into it with the group because the background singers, they were trying to get us to go party with them. And the security for Gerald was like, y'all stay away from them. Don't, telling those guys, don't talk to our singers. You know, they were bullies. And they were like, you know, they were rebuttaling, like, you know, whatever. Who are you? You don't tell us what to do. And one thing led to another, and they ended up pushing us out, pushing us on the bus. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
That's crazy. I remember that because I remember being there, right? And I'm saying to myself, everybody said the same thing. I don't know who this dude is right here, but he's gonna be an acting star.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about these other two dudes,
Mm-hmm.
but this dude right here,
Yep, R. Kelly.
this dude right here, you know what I'm saying?
Joe used to call him Robert.
You know what I mean?
Stay away from Robert. He got issues.
Yeah.
He used to call him Robert's a pedophile. I'm like, why are you saying that? Yeah, because everybody who was backstage, they all knew what was going on. They all knew because they was a part of it too. You know, they liked the young girls too.
Listen.
So, you know,
All right, how about that? Unity and community. Let's spin this back where we're supposed to be at, man. Look, the opinions.
Hey, look, that's why we play. That's why we play
on Genesis Radio.
That's why we play disclaimer.
Let's go to station break.
That's why we play disclaimer. Yeah.
Let's go back to the disclaimer.
But don't worry, we get to take this to the chop shop at some
My
point.
name is Lawanda.
Right?
My name is Precious.
Hey, look. Hey, look here.
Right.
The biggest telltale mark was, right, when he had his bus, he would always go to the mall.
Mm-hmm.
He would always go to the mall. Who's in the mall? You know what I mean? He would pull his bus up to the mall.
Yes, caller, how can we help you? Oh, you want to know where Serena hails from? Oh, she hails from Ohio. Wow. Don't take me to the
Okay, we get it.
We done.
Yo, you want to hear something? Yo, this is a true story. Last week, I was in the studio doing a rap for the song, and I put in the lyric, "Stepping so hard, you think I mess with Robin and them. He might be from Chicago and them." And they liked it, but they said, we want you to take that Robin part out. And I changed it to Harlem instead of Robin. Shake like he from Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
Might be from Chicago. But people are real still sensitive about it. That was last week.
Yeah, well, you know.
Last week. So it's still a hot, sensitive thing. And even as a DJ, some people don't want me to play his music.
Man,
I play his music. He has some good music.
I want Donald Trump to give R. Kelly a party.
He got some good music. That's the bottom line. But some people still don't want to.
And he said it. He said it on the TV just lately. He said, "I'm not giving Diddy. I'm not going to do it." He said, "I had some things he said about me in the past that I just." But you know who sent him those things? Who reminded him?
Mm-hmm.
If everybody know who B. Diddy's arch enemy is, everybody knows who he is. Mm-hmm. No names need to be said.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was his
they call
way,
him Boo Boo.
Right. If it had it his way, B. Diddy would not see the light of day.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that.
Okay,
Well, how about that? So Serena, we're gonna wrap this up.
All right.
Tell everybody where they can find you at and where they gonna find you at. Go ahead.
Well, right now you can find me singing with the OJs. I'm singing background with the OJs right now. They're doing their last and final Love Train tour, and we're going to be in Detroit. We're coming up in the month of August and September. Detroit, Fort Lauderdale, Chicago. We're going to St. Louis and Houston.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So we're going to be out the end of this month next week, and we'll be gone until the 1st of September.
Okay.
And hopefully you'll be hearing my song on the radio real soon. And the name of it is Go Away Love. I want you to look for it because it's coming out.
You tell me about your social network.
Oh, yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Tell them where to find you at. They know where the platform. Tell them who to search.
Sharina Wynn at Facebook, Sharina Wynn at Instagram, Marina Arena at TikTok, and that's it.
There you go. So now everybody know where y'all can find her at, you know, and we got some plans for her. We're gonna be doing some big things, some big things, you know what I mean? So don't blink because you might miss it because
Yeah.
it's the train has left the station and the elevator done left the lobby. So if y'all trying to catch up, y'all gotta pick up on it before you drop it. You know how we say, you don't get right, you get left. You know what I mean? So that's what we doing over here. You know what I mean? So with that being said, most interesting DJ in the world, what you got to say to the people before we get up out of here?
I'm saying I'm so fortunate to have been part of this greatness and sitting right next to all this fabulousness next to me. You know what I mean? I'm happy that I'm part of the journey, man.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm part of it.
I'm gonna do what I do.
Okay.
We're gonna make it do what it do.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing that we always say, and we don't just say, we kind of practice it, we are better together. You know, if you want to go fast, you go by yourself.
Go far, go with the team.
You need
That's
a
right.
team to and not just for music, just in life, the way everything is shaping up. It's time to get structured up. It's time to work together when feasible. You know, ideally, you know, it ain't gonna always work out, but that gotta be the goal. You know, if it's not a good fit, you know, you just pivot and shift. But better together.
We better together.
That's it. We better together.
Teamwork.
Well, what I'm gonna say is, you know, I feel like I done caught lightning in the bottle again. You know, you only catch lightning in the bottle once, and you know, like lightning never strikes the same place twice. You know what I mean? So the way this thing has transpired, in my opinion, I done came kicking and dragging. You know what I mean? I said, Sharina, okay, I'm gonna introduce you to my guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna introduce you to my guy. You know what I mean? But because I don't do certain things,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And then female artists and me, you know, we just always could never really be on the same page. You know what I mean? But something about Sharina was like catching light in the bottle. And she said I wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah.
And I said, but this
because
guy,
I couldn't believe it.
She's
And
very humble.
3 days after I sent you my music, you were calling me like, I hope you're ready for this. I hope you're ready for this.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in front of the TV watching Netflix, like, ready for what? He was like, you're going to get a phone call. And I'm like, okay, it's going to go real fast. So you got to be ready.
Don't blink.
And I'm like, okay. Then you call me right back. Mike Burrell's on the phone and he's loving your stuff. The first one is a go. It's fire. You sent me the text and I'm reading this text like, okay, Mike Burrell. So I'm sending you his EPK. You sent it to me and I was like, oh my God. This is the real deal. This guy is real. And then you's like, oh, you call me back. He's on the phone. We about to connect you in. I'm like, oh my God, this is just happening within an hour. It was happening. And it's been happening. So 3 or 4 days go by, and I'm like, yeah, I was just a fluke, My phone ring. Are you somewhere we can call you? I'm about to call you in 10 minutes. We're all on the line together.
That's how it works. So
and it's still happening. It's happening now. I'm like,
catching light in the
wow.
bottle, and I'm a little annoyed today that I'm looking at. I like Maya. I love Maya, right? But Maya is good, right? And my sensitivity in the way. How are you gonna let Maya jump the line when we got plans to do something else? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Twice. That's right. Okay. You gotta call. All right. We ain't gonna say no. We ain't gonna say no more. But we just said we had to say. And Sharina,
Nah, but
it's my pleasure to work with you.
One day before you close it, because we got to shout Mike. He's actually, up for the same type of acknowledgement. He's supposed to get a Lifetime Achievement Award next year.
Well, that's right. He's getting honored at the same event.
And the thing that is people he did a lot. Until you saw the EPK, you never heard of him, maybe?
No, I heard of him, but I didn't think that he was still in place doing what he's doing. And when I saw that, and I saw label, and I saw the name of the label, and I was like, and I saw who he was, I said, oh my God, this is the real deal. I wasn't expecting that.
My point is, there's people that's working still behind the scenes that had a big contribution, and they just maybe didn't get their flowers. Just like he was saying earlier. That was it. And there's a lot of people like that out here.
Yeah.
But
and yourself as well. Look how long you've been working.
I did give you the warning. I said he's a quintessential New Yorker.
Yes, you did. You said, and once he gets on the road, he's on the road.
And he's a little eccentric, so so guess what? Maya and them put some pressure on him, and he's like, I know I'm supposed to be over here, but okay, all right, okay.
But one thing he did do, he took me from not believing to believing in one phone call, because he started talking, and the way he was talking, everything that he was saying made so much sense being in the industry that I went from being to like overly excited. Like I was overly excited at the end of the conversation, because I was like, this could really happen. This could really, after all this time, it could still. And then my cousin who sings with the OJs, Eric Nolan, he sent me a message. He said, it said, just when you thought it was over, God whispered in your ear and said, I'm not on your time. Your watch don't read the same time mine does.
Mm-hmm.
And when he sent it to me, it gave me chills. I'm like, oh my God. I said, why would you send this? He said, because you were getting complacent and you were getting comfortable and thinking that, well, this is it for me. And it's never it for you. He says, never it for you. You don't decide when it's it for you.
That's right.
And I said, okay, well, I'm a believer now, because this stuff is happening, and it lit a fire up under me. Because let me tell you, me and my Netflix sisters on Netflix, I'm on BET, I'm watching Sisters, and I'm watching all these little shows. Now I don't have time for it anymore. I'm too busy getting paperwork, getting songs, getting pictures, getting writing up stuff to send to everybody to get this done. Like it's really happening now.
What's crazy, like right now, all my cars got the same license plate. It says Karma, right?
Mm-hmm.
But before I had Karma license plates, when I was living in New York, I had the Burgley BMW convertible. The license plate said never know. You know what I mean? Just like the lotto slogans to say, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So my plate was, you never know. Because you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
and when it's going to happen. And how it's going to happen. Sometimes you just got to be prepared for the opportunity. That's what I tell everybody.
And,
Just
and,
be prepared
and,
for the
and
opportunity.
I'm a little, like I said, when I talk to Mike, he gets me there. I'm a little skeptical every time I start relaxing again and being like, something happens. Like this happened. And they were like, you're going to perform next week, Candy. I said, I'm performing. Yes, you are. I said, oh, okay. And I said, okay, well, let me prepare myself to go. Then when I got here, I was like, okay, I'm performing. And the music didn't come through.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even have the music. It never came through his phone.
Mm-hmm.
I sent it to you. It didn't come through. Then all of a sudden, it just popped on his phone.
Popped on my phone and your phone
while I was there.
at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to send it hours ago.
I sent it days before.
Yeah.
And isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like, wow. So you never know.
Never know.
Like you say, you never know.
Never know.
And if something tells me that Mike is listening to this.
He ain't hustling. He ain't hustling. He gonna call me, yo, why you keep calling me quintessential? And I'm telling you, because I'm quintessential, so I can relate to you.
Why
You
you
know,
keep calling me centric?
we the same sandwich. You know what I mean? We the same sandwich. You know, so it is what it is. But I'm gonna say this here: it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
We had some fun.
It was good. Yeah.
And this is only the beginning. You know. And
Red's laughing.
and look, since she told me I can't go nowhere,
because our phone ringing.
you know.
That's what I'm laughing.
Oh yeah.
But it wasn't that.
Okay.
It was the other M.
All right.
It wasn't him.
All right, y'all. So with that being said, we gonna go back to our regular scheduled program. DJ Supreme, you know, don't be mad at us. We still got love for you. So
Take Supreme from the top, man.
It
Started over, man.
it was a pleasure to be here to do this, and this is only the beginning, and we'll be back. So y'all sit back, relax, enjoy the ride. We had some fun, and now we're gonna slide on up out of here and get back to Supreme Show. Peace, y'all. We out.
Peace.
Peace.